You are waiting for proof before you commit. And that is exactly why the people who will outwork you decided 6 months ago, while you were still asking for a sign. This is the story of 3 people: a coach who planted an impossible standard, a veteran who'd been broken by it twice, and a 17-year-old who didn't know she was supposed to be afraid. One of them changed the other 2, and if you've ever been told your goal is delusional, stay. This one's yours.
The coach had carried a clipboard to 2 international campaigns. Both ended the same way: close, then collapse. He'd watched gifted athletes freeze when the lights hit. He knew the problem was never talent. It was what they believed about themselves in the moments that mattered most. So 3 years out, he did something no one expected. He gathered 23 athletes in that gym and said 5 words: "You will win the gold." The room went dead silent. A few laughed nervously. The press later called it delusional.
But the coach wasn't predicting, he was programming. Every Monday morning he opened practice the same way: gold standard today. Not a question, a statement. He hung one photograph in the gym, the podium, empty, waiting.
The veteran had stood on those 2 losing teams. She'd felt the stadium roar, the lights, the moment where your legs stop listening to your brain. She was the most technically gifted athlete in the program. She was also the most afraid of the stage. She managed hope the way you manage a flame in wind, carefully, with both hands cupped around it, expecting it to die. She'd believed twice before. Twice the fall broke something inside her that technique couldn't fix. Trust.
She trained harder than anyone, not because she believed the coach, but because work was the only thing that couldn't betray her. Her form was flawless. Her confidence was fractured, and everyone knew when the real moment came, technique alone wouldn't carry her across. Then there was the newcomer, 17 years old. No scar tissue, no memory of the collapses that haunted the veterans. She walked into that gym the way you walk into a party, expecting something good to happen.
When the coach said "you will win the gold," every veteran in the room flinched. The newcomer raised her hand. "What do we do Monday?" The coach smiled. That was the only answer that ever mattered.
She wasn't fearless, she simply hadn't learned yet which fears were mandatory. And that ignorance was a weapon no amount of experience could replicate. She trained like winning was the default outcome, not the miracle. 3 years of Mondays, same gym, same standard. Here's what the science confirms. Collective efficacy, a team's shared belief in its own capability, is a stronger predictor of competitive outcome than the sum of individual talent. Belief isn't metaphor. It's measurable, transmissible, and trainable. Groups that believe together consistently outperform more skilled groups that don't. Competition day. The favorites arrived, decorated, expected, inevitable. Cameras followed them through the tunnel. Commentators rehearsed their victory narratives on live television. Nobody was writing a story about the team from the cinder-block gym with the empty podium taped to the wall.
The veteran felt it, that old gravitational pull of deference. The voice that whispered, "They're better, they've always been better, and this ends the way it always ends." Her hands trembled as she laced her shoes. The scar tissue was screaming.
Then she looked up. The newcomer was already warming up, no ritual, no dread, just movement. Fluid and focused, uncontaminated by history. The kid didn't know she was supposed to be afraid, and watching her, something cracked open in the veteran's chest.
She made a choice. She would feel every gram of that fear and perform anyway. Not because it vanished, because the 17-year-old beside her didn't carry it, and refusing to match that energy meant drowning in the gap between them. She chose to borrow the newcomer's belief. It cost her the safety net she'd woven from 2 failures, the comfort of low expectations. She let it go.
They won, not by a miracle, by 3 years of Monday mornings when the impossible standard was the only standard. The coach's delusion became the floor. The veteran's fear became fuel. The newcomer's clean belief lit the fuse. So the next time you're grinding at dawn and the goal feels insane, remember, every generation gets its gold. But only if someone decides to believe before the evidence arrives. That someone is you, not after the proof. Now, if you felt that in your chest, you're one of us. Subscribe to forge your iron mindset. The iron mindset. Believe before the evidence arrives.